We are witnessing the downfall of humanity, folks. I'm just going to put it pretty bluntly. I don't know if anybody's quite aware. Have you heard of AI? I'm trying to see how the audio sounds. I'm sure it'll sound great. It always sounds fucking amazing. Maybe it's the mini fridge in the corner that's making the static. I don't think it, whatever. I'm not going to unplug my fridge. We're toast, folks. We're done. We're done here. We're done. It's not picking up the fucking audio. Not the way I would like it to. So, I don't know if anybody's quite familiar. If you've listened to other episodes, maybe you've met AI Me. He likes to kind of make some of my episodes not as funny, which I'm not really that funny to begin with. For some reason, AI has advanced to a point where, and I know I'm not crazy, all right? AI guys, you know what I mean? I hate to break it to you, but I'll record audio here on GarageBand. GarageBand. It's a pretty, I don't know how long it's been a thing, GarageBand. I didn't even really put the two together. My buddy's got a fucking little band in his garage out there. Anyways, AI. It's actually God. That's what it is. I forgot. It's God. We're in purgatory. Or I am. Or everybody is. Even all the little animals and ants running around. Everybody's purging their soul of all the sins. What was I saying about AI? Yeah. I kind of like it. Now that I've remembered that it's God, I kind of like AI. I was talking about Bill Belichick a couple episodes ago, which I did in like one of my first episodes. A lot of it was about me talking shit about Bill Belichick and how he's probably the worst coach of all time in any sport, even like T-ball. Because, for so long, I'm just going to go into this because it's really, something that needs to be said about Bill. I thought he was always the reason that the Patriots were so successful, such a good dynasty. I thought Tom was a fucking bum. I thought Tom Brady was fucking shit. He was drafted in the 7th round. He was almost undrafted. No team really wanted to draft him almost. That's how bad he was. And I wasn't old enough to watch the beginning of his career, really, because he's played, 22 years in the NFL? He's been to 11 Super Bowls. So every other year, he goes to the Super Bowl. And I really thought that he was kind of carried. I'm not going to lie. I thought his defense carried him. He lost to Eli Manning twice in the Super Bowl. Not Peyton. Eli. The fucking dorky looking motherfucker who he looks like he should be on an incest rape compound in Wisconsin shoving cheese up his ass. That's kind of what Eli looks like. Tom Brady lost to him twice. Eli Manning is really not a very good quarterback. So when you lose to let's try to compare him to a quarterback who's playing right now. Let me think. I'm going through all the quarterbacks. Not Rodgers, not Josh Allen, not. He might be Mac Jones. Which, Mac Jones, not sure if anybody knows, he's not even a starting quarterback anymore. He got traded to the Jaguars. I don't know why. Let me think. Not not Tua. Tua's the only left-handed quarterback in the NFL, don't you know? And that's actually very rare. It doesn't really happen. Offense like the Mike McDaniel for the coach for the Miami Dolphins, he had to restructure the entire offensive playbook because of Tua being a left-handed quarterback. It just doesn't really happen ever, really. Michael Vick, but the entire offense changes because left-handed quarterbacks, they roll to the left, they throw with the left hand. You can't roll to the right, and you have to turn your fucking body to throw it well, like Brett Favre did in the 2009 championship game against the Saints. But Mike McDaniel, who looks like what does he look like? He looks like he's on fucking crack. Like he works out. He runs around at the track. Not the one at the gym, but like the one where all the kids run after school. He likes to run with the kids in his sweatpants and shit. He always wears sweatpants, kind of like Bill. That's right. I was talking about Bill. The Patriots. I mean, dude. I'm not depressed. I'm really not. I should be though. I don't want to kill myself. I don't want to die. I'll just put it that way. If I was Tom Brady after losing to Eli Manning the second time, I probably would have asked. I would have like charged one of the security guards and had them like gun me down. I honestly, dude, I don't think I could even live with myself. I don't even think Peyton Manning has won 2 Super Bowls. Peyton's better. Let's see. Peyton Manning. This is fun. I was going to talk about AI, but I mean, who gives a shit? It's the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is talking to you through the internet. That's what it is. It's not. It may come off as AI, like deep fakes, deep fakes, like when you're in a deep slumber, in deep sleep, REM sleep, but like in a coma. Imagine being like months and months in a coma and you're deep. That's when things start to get wonky. And oh yeah, this was the most important thing. It's really all over the place. It's kind of funny because Bill Belichick is actually. I changed my mind on everything. Bill Belichick is actually not only the best coach of all time, but he is honestly anybody who's ever watched a sporting event, been to a sporting event, coached a sporting event, played in a sporting event, played on a team, played on a singular UFC, boxing, wrestling, ping pong, horseshoes, like even just like playing in the backyard with your friends, cornhole. If you've ever shot an apple off of somebody's head, like Peyton Manning here, who has the like a 17 head. That's how big his forehead is. They probably wrote the offensive scheme on his forehead when he was on the sidelines, back before they had the tablets. And Bill Belichick hates the tablets. He throws them at the fucking bench every game. He doesn't think they're very. What did he say? Because the audio I was doing when I was talking about him, I thought it was gonna keep recording while I watched the video. He just talked about like it was AI Bill. That's the thing. AI responds to my thoughts, my inner thoughts going on in my head. Oh, Hayden, how is that even possible? Blah, 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 blah. This is where we connect to the coma dream thing. That's why I thought it was a coma dream for so long. It's not. We're actually in purgatory. I proved it on the purgatoring episode, which There's a shout out to all the planes following me around all day, every day, which they don't really have much to follow. I just sit inside the fucking room and I isolate because I'm not really into the whole people thing right now. And that is because God, not my former self, because it's not a coma. It's not a coma dream, folks. I proved it. It's not a simulation. And I'll explain why. All right, first Peyton Manning. How many Super Bowls did he win? Super Bowls. Super Bowl wins. There we go. Now we're kind of working cohesively. Oh, Peyton Manning did win too. 2006, the Saints. He beat the Saints in 2006. 18 years, 2 Super Bowl wins. Omaha. Huh. God, he retired 8 years ago. That can't be right. That's crazy. Manning has held or currently holds many major NFL records. Well, that's just not true. He did at one point. Not anymore. Career passing yards, 71,940. Career passing touchdowns, 539. Single season passing touchdowns, 55 in one season. So there's 16 games in a season. That's almost an average of 4 touchdowns a game. Only other we're going to see how many quarterbacks have done that. We're just rolling in the deep, man. You know, the coma dream deep. Does anybody else like Adele? Does anybody else think that she's a really creative songwriter? I actually do. And I think she lost a lot of weight too. Which is, I mean, I know a few people who could lose some weight. One specifically. She's gonna probably eat me alive, and that's okay. I kind of want to be eaten alive at this point in my life. Is anybody like? I'm a big fan of Star Wars. Has Jabba the Hutt ever had like a sexual partner? Like, I know, I don't think there's any other. Oh, there is one other Hutt in episode 2. Or am I just totally making shit up? How many QBs have thrown 55 touchdowns? Let's just do 50. Because even that is pretty hard. Unlike my cock nowadays. Yeah, God's testing me there too. Yeah. Yeah. Holy shit. No way, bro. Peyton Manning, 55 in 2013 when he went to Denver. His third year in Denver. Tom Brady, he threw 50 one year, 2007. And Patrick Mahomes, 50 in 2018. Those are the only 3 quarterbacks in the history of the NFL who have ever thrown for more than 50 touchdowns. Or 50. Only those 3. So, let's see. Who did I compare him to? Oh, Mac Jones. God help us. If you draft Mac Jones, yes, I'm going to touch on the other stupid shit later. Mac Jones. See, this is important information that I think the people need to know. Mac Jones. He's a backup now to Trevor Lawrence. He looks like a lot like Tom Brady at the time of the draft. Like when Tom Brady was drafted, Mac Jones looks a lot like chubby boy. Jesus, man. He's played 42 games, Mac Jones. Yeah, 46 touchdowns total. So about one touchdown a game, just over one. One passing touchdown per game. I'm like, I played football until I was in 10th grade. I think I could throw more passing touchdowns in the NFL than Mac Jones. He can't even throw like more than 20 yards. I'm not even joking. So, hmm. Hey, Jesus Lord. Jesus H. Christ. Does anybody know where the H comes from in Jesus H. Christ? Anybody? This dude went to the fucking Pro Bowl? No, that can't. That has to be a lie. That can't be true. No fucking way, dude. That can't. No, there's no way. There's no. Offensive Rookie of the Year? What? He was drafted the same draft as Justin Herbert. And who else? Justin Herbert. God damn it. Yeah. Like, I might kill myself just from, like, the NFL allowing this to happen. Two game-winning drives in his 42 game career season, or career, whatever. Yeah. They traded Mac Jones to the Jaguars, and now because they have Bailey Zappi, you know? So that just goes to show you, dude, Bill Belichick. I actually love Bill. I'm not even going to lie. I think he's hilarious. I'm just focused on winning the game, scoring the most points. What's your strategy for tonight's game, Bill? Just score more points than the other team. I think our long snapper is going to do it. He talks about long snapper for fucking 20 minutes, dude. Hmm. This has to be a bit. Like, this is not. The internet has to be fucking with me right now. There's no way this dude went to the Pro Bowl. NFL Draft Bible on C.com, SI.com. This is what I'm talking about. I had a vision. What is it? Fucking 7 months ago. So 30 times 7. 210 days ago. Back then, man, I didn't give a fuck, dude. I was just fucking around. Like, I was just trying to win the lottery, man. You know? When I got arrested, the police officers were like talking to me in Morse code and da 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 da, giving me numbers. And I got one number wrong. This is back when they could read my mind, you know, because my mind made it true. And I was like, wait. And they repeated the fucking number because they were reading my mind. And they repeated it because I got the number wrong or I didn't know for sure. Because they gave me 12 numbers on my way to Stillwater Courthouse after they stuck a needle in my arm for 5 minutes and no blood came out at all. They couldn't, you know, it took them a while to get me to bleed. And then when the blood came out into the vial, I'm not even joking. I've never really seen like a huge pail of red paint, but it looked like dark red paint that you paint your wall with. It looked like pastel. Um, God, what is that shit called? God, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Laffy Taffy. It looked like a dark red Laffy Taffy. Kinda. Like the, you know, the long ones, the long rectangular ones. It didn't look like blood, you know? And they literally, so after I got one of the numbers wrong, they fucking, started doing more numbers. But not everyone was an actual number. Like, let's say, all right, so this is back when I was trying to get the internet to tell me the lottery numbers because they can see it in my future. Yeah. They didn't do it. So let's do this right here. This is former Vikings GM believes he knows when JJ McCarthy will start for Minnesota. Hopefully, game one. First round, pick 10. Why would we ever start Sam Darnold? Jesus Christ, man. I mean, this is a joke. What is happening? Has everybody in the country and the world like had their skull caps sawed in half? You know, like Shutter Island, where they like literally send them to the lighthouse and they get a lobotomy. But like halfway through the procedure, they're like the fucking surgeon is fucked up every little wire and synapse in the brain. But then, it's like when you take apart an electronic device that isn't worth very much money because you don't really care if you fuck it up. And you're just kind of like ripping shit apart at that point. You're like, oh, fuck it, dude. This is like a $5 fucking little knickknack. And you just start like ripping the wires and spitting on the motherboard. And when you're done with that, you realize, oh, this thing didn't even work to begin with. This is a shit controller that's been, there's so much cheat. Like, my brother used to use my Xbox controller, and he would literally eat like Cheetos and Doritos, and he would. I don't know if you've ever eaten like almost an entire bag of Cheetos in one sitting without washing your hands or even like attempting to clean them off. But there's like it's probably thicker than the layer of your skin, the coating of the Cheeto dust. And he just goes playing, doesn't clean them off, playing for months. That's kind of, and I think I came on the laptop keyboard. First time I ever jerked off. I was in 5th grade. Victoria's Secret website. Really, really, really high end stuff. And wow, 25 minutes, dude. What have I been talking about? Can somebody just come eat me, dude? Nobody? All right. That's what I thought. So imagine, like, so how much, you played a couple hours of video games a day, a bag of Cheetos every time, and he probably came on the controller a few times too. That's what I'm trying to say. So imagine the controller stops working coincidentally one day, you know. I wonder how that happened. So just imagine that, but it's not a $70 controller. It's like, just try to picture, like, um let's see. You found a Jeep key in the dump, like a trash can. That's for a 1981 fucking Jeep that nobody's gonna use. You're never gonna find the car for it, and it looks like somebody somebody's dog like shitted out of its asshole, and while it was coming out of the asshole, like working its way through the intestines, it like literally ripped the dog's intestines, and the dog just kind of died, but it wasn't able to shit it out. It just stayed in the colon. So then, a bunch of like vultures come by, because this is like, probably a dog in some country where they don't really take care of them very well. Aria! So then they pick apart the carcass of the dog. Does everybody. There's vultures in Minnesota, which I find just crazy. I've never seen one before last year. I also saw a wolf in a neighborhood not too far from St. Paul, probably like 5 minutes from downtown. A wolf. It's the size of a wolf. It wasn't a German Shepherd. It wasn't a coyote. It was a wolf. So, yeah, once they're done picking apart every little small piece of meat, and the maggots have pretty much done the rest of the inside of the bones, there's the key. So imagine you take that thing apart. You just rip it's not even connected with screws. That's how fucking invaluable it is in terms of money wise. And why did I bring this up again? Hmm. That's a good question. Lobotomy patients, specifically ones where because sometimes they'll only take a little bit of the skull off, like a Neuralink, which, if I were to be staying around a little bit longer than I plan on, which honestly, I might get sucked up to heaven while I'm recording right now. So, good luck, everybody. I fucking did enough for you fucking schmucks. Anyways, so they usually cut about like half an inch to an inch above the eyebrow. Sometimes, a little bit more depending on the size of the head. But essentially, if let's say you're Edward Daniels, and at the end of the movie, I don't know if you've ever seen it, Shutter Island. Don't listen if you don't want to fucking know what a 20-year-old movie is about. But basically, at the end of the movie, he like The next day, after they tell him that he's actually not a homicide detective working with his partner, he's actually a psych ward patient on the island. He's in Ward C. You know, the really bad one. This is where all the crazy schizos and people who like murder, like they drown their children in the lake and shit, which is what his wife did. And he knew that she was fucking nuts. But, you know, he fought in the wars and he was a fucking booze hound. So he had other things on his mind, obviously, like the fact that the liquor store was, you know, what is it? Fucking whatever. They were going out of business and they literally had like a buy one get one free. So that was what he had his mind focused on. Free booze. Not the fact that his wife is a fucking basket case who might drown the kids in the lake. But he completely forgot. Like, he got split personality so bad to the point where when he's in this other personality, like the homicide detective who, like, just got out of World War II, like, he just got done with it not too long ago. He doesn't even remember the fact that he had a wife and kids, that she killed the kids in the lake, and then he killed her afterwards. So, like, his split personality is so off the charts that he literally doesn't even remember his wife murdering 3 children of theirs and then him murdering her. Like, the brain has been, like, I don't even know how that happens. It's pretty fascinating. And if you've seen the movie, which if you haven't, if you have a car in the garage, just start it up and start watching the movie with the car running, and just sit in there and watch the movie. You know, chill for a bit, smoke a couple cigarettes, maybe shoot up some heroin, and call it a life. And if you still have time, um, The Dark Knight, you know, not everybody is going to really like that movie because it's a superhero movie, but it's literally got the best uh, acting role of all time. Heath Ledger's the Joker, obviously. I'm just kidding. No, dude, it's Rachel. Rachel, the actress. Not Harvey Dent, not Two Face, not Bruce Wayne. Rachel killed it. She really did. I'm not even joking. She did a really good job falling out of the building, being a whore. And, oh, The Shining. Those are my 3 favorite movies. And you know, what's crazy is, what was it? Yeah, lobotomies. So, if you're like most of the people in the country and in the world, you kind of know where he's coming from. And at the end of the movie, they tell him that he literally thought he was a homicide detective the entire movie, which he was. When I first watched it a couple times, I thought that he hallucinated the entire experience and that none of it actually even happened. But no, everybody on the island was acting like uh, they were pretending to be like helping him find this missing woman with his partner, which is actually his psychiatrist. Which is even, you know, I'm just going to say this, that's more insane than he'll ever be. Because to have like hundreds of people, psych ward patients, like people who stab their wife because the potatoes are too raw, you know, like they're all pretending to the fucking patients are being interviewed by him, like, and they're all pretending like he's a detective when they all know that he's actually like one of the most fucked up patients there. It's really not cool. It's a confusing movie because you don't find out to the very end that he is actually not a homicide detective. And his wife didn't burn alive in an apartment. That was fake, I think. Yeah, it was fake. That was his other split personality that he. So I don't know if he, when he remembers his wife and children being murdered, I don't know if he. I'm pretty sure in the moment he also remembers the other personality, where his girlfriend got burned alive in an apartment by some dude who is actually a patient at the psych ward. You know? But he. Where was I going with this? Basically, at the end of the movie, the very next day after he finds out that the entire island has been fucking with him to try to get him to play out his fantasy, which, play out his fantasy. Fantasy. Final Fantasy. No. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Basically, is a psychiatrist who is his homicide detective partner the entire movie, Mark Ruffalo, walks up to him, the next day, and the fucking warden and the other doctors are standing there on the street, and he basically like walks up to him and fucking, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. Fucking, if you haven't seen this movie, you should really kill yourself. And he starts talking to Mark Ruffalo's character, who is his psychiatrist, who gives out medication. It's different than the therapist. And instantly, Leonardo DiCaprio's character is like, I don't know about these. There's something they're not telling us. Like, he's the homicide detective again. Like, sleep just instantly reset his fucking brain. He's like, yeah. And then fucking Ruffalo's character is like, oh, yeah, boss. And then he fucking looks at the warden and everybody else and he's like, shakes his head, no. But you can see it in Leonardo's face. He's bullshitting them. You can see it in his face. He's like pretending to not remember the fact that his children were murdered by his wife and then he had to kill his wife. You can literally kind of see it. You can tell. Which, depending on what version God shows you, it might be a little bit different. You know what I mean? Because I have the DVD, just normal DVD. It's not recorded. It's not online. And I swear to God, the most recent time I watched it, like this, his face looked different. Like there's different scenes that are edited and removed from the movies I watch and all the shit. It's all fucked, folks. But that's God. That's Jesus H. Christ, our Lord and Savior. Arya, you're fine, baby. You're fine, baby girl. And if God starts fucking with your life, or your dog, or your family's minds, or your friends' minds, like my dog just looked up to the ceiling, to the sky, right as I said that. This is the kind of shit that's happening. It's really not okay. The fact that I have to reiterate all of these points is truly. It's like I'm talking to Edward Daniels. And every time I fucking tell him something about the that's not okay to do to people or pets or animals. I did it as a bit last night. Fucking A, dude. I used to do it all the time. Pretend to like telepathically talk to them in the mind. Don't do it. But you can see it in Leonardo's face. He knows that they're gonna send him to the fucking lighthouse to get a lobotomy, which is just basically brain death. You're gonna die if you go to the lighthouse. And he knows this. And he's lucky to have one of the mental illnesses that allows him to like kind of play a role that removes his memory and erases his memory to a certain extent. Because if he didn't, like, if he just had like something different, he wouldn't really be able to do that probably. But he would rather go to the lighthouse, get his skull sawed in half, than pick apart his brain or attempt to fix him, which is just crazy. I thought you'd die. Like, if somebody pokes your brain with a toothpick, I thought you'd probably die. But, you know, I haven't done brain surgery in a while, so. Aria, what's wrong, baby? It's okay, baby girl. Yeah, you're okay. What's wrong, baby? You know I'm recording. But he, knowing that the thing about his wife and kids, he would rather get sent to the lighthouse to get lobotomized and be killed, essentially, than live with the pain and the grief and the resentment towards himself and harboring all those fucking fucked up emotions, and also being a war veteran in World War II in Europe. Guy's been through some shit. It's like, lady, can't you like go kill the neighbors' children? I guess she did say that they were, what did she say? Something about them swimming. And, taking pictures for I don't even know. Lady was fucking out of her skull. But yeah, at the end of the movie, that's literally kind of where I'm at. He'd rather go to the lighthouse and have his brain turned to mush and be murdered by the people who are trying to quote unquote fix him than even have to think about what the fuck happened to his family, his 3 children. And he could have stopped it. He could have, if he just would have like gotten his wife some help, none of that would have happened. And they'd probably be living a happy life. So that's how that real heartfelt movie ends. But I don't know if, you can, it's kind of hard to tell, at least in the most recent time I watched it. Because I think they literally, like, there was a different end scene. Second time I watched it, same DVD. No, I'm not crazy. Because you couldn't really see this, like, something in his eye, you could just tell he was fucking lying to Mark Ruffalo's character about, forgetting everything that happened the day before and acting as if he's a fucking homicide detective again. He just wanted it to be over, man. Yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Do they still do lobotomies in America? You know, if you're an organ donor, they don't really try as hard to save your life. I'm sure most people know that. But that's the thing. What if you're like 20 years old and the person who's getting the organs is like 80? Doesn't really make sense. Bill Belichick. Why was I talking about lobotomies, dude? Oh, I think I was just trying to relate to the general public. That's the thing, folks. Sims 5. Skitsed out on comedy skits. It's all comedy, baby. It's all jokes. I've listened to people who are like really not funny at all. And I'm not funny, really at all. I'm a lot like them. But this is America. I know. Despite you might walk out of your door and look around at the fucking clouds for the first time in weeks. Which, you know, it's kind of good actually, because God, people are fucking off the rockers sometimes, man. And you look at the clouds and you see letters and numbers, and the birds are talking to you in Morse code. Same with the wind. And then you get really mad about something, and then it starts storming. And then you see the new Twisters trailer. It's Twisters 2. There's 2 tornadoes. And then 2 tornadoes touch down in your state. You know, things like that. Which actually has all happened to me. I made a joke on one of the podcast episodes about Twisters, the new movie. A couple of tornadoes touched down, and then Midwest, like Kansas or some shit. Like a day after. Also, this is a free country. I can say whatever the fuck I want, so shut the fuck up. You want to come on the podcast and talk into the microphone like a fucking man with a spine and a pair of balls, or you want to keep talking while I'm yelling into a microphone super quietly? Oh, hey, what is wrong with it? You can't say. Shut the fuck up, pussy. Yeah, that's what I thought. Also, I mentioned on an earlier couple episodes, I know I mentioned it, the voices. If you hear voices, you're not crazy. If you see things like an entire apartment building just popped up overnight, no construction at all, electrical, plumbing, heating, air conditioning. Literally everything you need to have a functioning apartment building with like 400 units. Just shows up overnight. You wonder, why are there 10 times as many trees all over the place? Nobody notices any of these things. It's like insane to me. I'm actually like very concerned. I used to find it kind of funny because I thought everybody was just like fucking retarded. But I mean, I drove past my dad's work a couple months ago, and there's so many trees there now. Like they're everywhere. You can barely see anything other than trees, and they're everywhere. I put out a tweet like 5 years ago saying, "Oh, it's nice to see the leaves." Yeah, I already talked about this. The leaves on the trees, and then there's trees everywhere. But no, the voices are not the simulation. There is no simulation, people. This is purgatory. And I want to do a new episode and talk about it right at the beginning. Yeah, the voices don't like that one. I wonder why. You want to come talk on the mic? Hey. Shh. I don't speak to pussies who can't come say some shit to my face. Personalized learning. Persian Gulf. I'm trying to look for the Gulf War. Is that even a war? I don't think it was. The Gulf War. Hilarious. Gulf War illness. That's kind of fun. But no, the voices are actually Satan, or the spawn of Satan, or his minions. Literally, making people who really don't deserve it at all, who are good people like me, have mental illness that they don't have, giving them schizophrenia, shit like that. Depersonalization, derealization, dissociative identity disorder, schizoaffective, da 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 da. The list goes on. Psychosis. And this is when I'm like, I don't really get high, folks. You know what I mean? All the shit about the drugs was a bit, just a little bit. And it's basically what I've come to realize is that this is purgatory. And I don't know if everybody else is in purgatory here as well. I mean, maybe. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I disproved that as well. I wouldn't give a shit if it was either way, but, you know, if it's my purgatory, then I can kind of go to heaven sooner. Which I deserve it at this point. Because I can't do this shit anymore. You know what I mean? I just can't. I can't. I can't. I won't. I don't want to. So please beam me up to heaven, the afterlife, the pearly gates, the wall, the clouds, the light, the smoke, the sound the wall makes. It's like a metal glass wall of like triangles that ding 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 ding. As you get closer, it just gets more intense and louder. And there's some warm, fresh meat laying on you. Man. Legal, obviously. And that's the thing. Ever since that vision, I've been. That was obviously heaven, you know? I think I talked about it on one of the last 3 episodes, probably. And once before on another episode, but. No, the voices are not artificial noise in this simulated world. It's not a simulation because every sense except for taste from that vision that I had, from the memory of that vision, it was so extremely vivid and intense and it just gradually increasing in intensity and vividness, or yeah. So like touch, smell, sight, sense of hearing, all just becoming more and more uh, present and prominent in my current. I was like sitting inside of my own head like a pilot in a cockpit, you know, flying, like levitating to the ceiling. And out of all the memories of my entire life combined, none of them combined do not feel as real as, not even 10% as real as that one moment in terms of the senses. So clearly that was heaven, because I was 2.5 days without water, and I went 5 days without water like a week or a week and a half ago. Just trying to get back to that moment, get back to that physical. I was just trying to replicate everything as much as I could leading up to that vision. And a couple months ago, I went 4 days without water. And I literally went, I think it was over 5 days, 120 hours straight, not a drop of water. Well, I had 3 ice cubes with my whiskey. I forgot about that. Just trying to do whatever I could to get there. And I started mowing the lawn like 4 times with a mower that doesn't have an engine. It's, you know, just a fucking old school where the blades spin. Not, you know, the one, you know, the regular lawnmower. It's just 2 big blades, but it's like the rotating circular one. And I just kept mowing, even in the like it was fucking midnight, and I was mowing the lawn, dying. I thought I was gonna die. I almost had a heart attack because I couldn't breathe. Just trying to literally work myself to the point of having another vision. When you're sweating so much and so you've had so much time with no water, where does the sweat come from? You know? Where does the sweat come from? Because I mean, I didn't have any water in my system, so it must have just been literally just coming from the fat, the fat cells in my body. So that's why I probably lost like 10. I have lost 10 pounds in the last couple weeks. When you start sweating a lot, like it comes out of your fat cells or whatever. And I started praying to God, and I don't know if it was God, you know, which is pretty unfortunate if it wasn't, because I got a telepathic vibe, a thought inserted into my mind. You'll be fine, Hayden. You don't need to. Because I started getting worried. I'm like, man, I know I know what I'm doing. You know, when I had the vision, it was on an accident that I didn't have any water. These 2 times were on purpose. Like I was blatantly, intentionally not drinking water to like push my heart and my brain to the point of near death, which would technically be a suicide. If you really want to get technical. I started thinking, God, fuck. Is God gonna think I'm trying to kill myself right now to wake up and have a vision and to heaven? another near-death experience, because it technically, is probably considered at least an assisted or whatever suicide. When you intentionally don't drink the one thing you need to survive because you would die without it. God told me, Hayden, you're fine. You'll be going to heaven tonight. Just drink water and go to sleep. And it's been a week and a half, probably. And nothing. Not a goddamn thing. And slowly since that night, I've been starting to realize that, I've always thought, even as like a little kid, I just kind of assumed that God is telepathic and he can always hear your thoughts. You don't have to speak out loud when you're praying or whatever. And yeah, I don't think that was God. I think it was Satan using his little minions, the voices that literally mimic what schizophrenic patients hear. Constant chatter all day, every day for about 840 days. That's how long, that's how many days. There was 2 months back in October and November that the voices were gone. And guess when I had that vision? Right in the smack dab middle of that time. So about 4 weeks after I stopped hearing the voices, I had that near-death experience, the fucking gates of heaven, essentially. And basically these voices, what I've come to realize is that they're a little bit more advanced than I wanted to admit that they were. Because I had a hunch. I just didn't think that this world was so fucking cruel. You know? I really didn't think that what I have a feeling is true now, it would even they'll mimic like people in your life that you care about that you haven't seen in 20 months because this world fucks up the heads of the people that I'm around. People don't like some people. I don't really talk to most of my family anymore for that reason. I haven't seen most of my family in over a year and a half. And it really fucking kills me, It really, really fucking. But the voices will literally pretend to be these people in your life. And they'll trick you. They'll try to fuck with your head. Make you think that they're actually the people in your life. Like your neighbors. Fucking with you for a long time. Then you bring it up to your neighbor and he's like, what are you talking about? And you like, oh, nothing, man. Sorry. Did I do something to piss you or your mom off? Like, is everything good? And he says, yeah, yeah. And then you bring it up again and a couple more times. Then you bring it up to a couple more people, a couple times. And they all deny even acknowledging what you're talking about as a thing that's happening. because it's not them. But you don't know that because the voices sound exactly like them. They act as if they are them. They're your, for in my case, my next door neighbors. And this is just, the very beginning of all that shit. But basically, yeah. That would actually be Satan. And these voices, what I've come to believe, possibly, I don't agree with this at all. I don't think this is the way it should be. I think God needs to stop abandoning his believers and the people that have faith in him and good people, which is literally what's happened, it seems. I'm not even doing a bit here right now. You know what I mean? This is not a joke. When I saw God that night, I had a, split second response, and he just shot me back down into my body. Pretty much as soon as I finished my sentence, the last word, it was, all right, go back into your body then and have fun down there. And here I am 7.5 months later. Just pretty much for at least 6 months, 5 to 6 months, every day, I've just been like sitting around believing and hoping and thinking that today's the day I wake up. Whether that be by proving this was a dream back then, which, I always knew in the back of my mind, if you get enough of those reality altering circumstances and events to happen, you build up this fucking. It's a lot like when you believe and have faith that, all that shit, you're gonna go to heaven or whatever the fuck. If God even fucking hears us. Yeah, he does. And I just want to tell you, God, you need to really, really get your shit in order, dude. Because God is probably looking at me, realizing that I'm just a fucking nut job. Because for 2.5 years, I've had all these fucking thoughts sent to my head, inserted into my fucking brain, non-stop, all day, every day. Like schizophrenia, like delusional, paranoid fucking assumptions and like delirious fucking connections about things when I'm actually right about a lot of the shit. Because I don't have schizophrenia. That's the thing. I had it, but I don't. I never did. But I did. But is it schizophrenia if it's not genuinely a mental illness due to lack of functionality in the brain or a chemical imbalance in the brain? Because that's what mental illness is. But what if it's not because of that? What if it's literally Satan inserting thoughts and telepathically sending fucked up shit into your head and your mind all day, every day for 2.5 years? And God just looks down at you and he's like, I can't bring this fucking nut job into heaven. But God doesn't know. God, I don't know why. Maybe he's fucking retarded. Or maybe he just doesn't give a shit. Maybe he does. And he's just pushing me to the very fucking brink of hopelessness and with the most confidence I've ever had in my entire life because I'm the fucking shit. I'm the best me, best version of me that there's ever been. And God's just sitting there like, this guy hears voices. He thinks everything's about him. Which, first of all, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially when I don't think that. I've noticed a humongous difference, specifically in the last few weeks or, couple months at the most, of when my mind is clear. When but the voices or whatever it is, God, Satan, literally are like disguising the thoughts being sent to my head as my own thoughts. And this is where it gets, really messed up. And if you think I'm crazy and you don't believe me, it's a free country, dude. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit what you think. But I know I'm not crazy. I know I'm not making this shit up. I know it. I know for a fact that all of this is true. Like inserting feelings and fear, worry, anxiety, anger, impending doom, like a sense of like destruction, chaos inside my own mind, an impending doom that gradually builds up, making me think that I'm in a coma dream and that at any second I'm about to fucking die if I don't do the right thing. Like, and it just builds, and the heat in my chest builds. And I start sweating and getting hot flashes. And, like, inserting, because I don't fear anything except dying via suicide and going to hell. Like, probably every single human being on the planet Earth that's ever lived. Unless, you committed suicide, which, I attempted twice or whatever. That's what happens, when your brain isn't fully developed and you don't really know who you are. And you've also got depression or whatever, you're kind of a homosexual. Anyways, I think my dog is, for some reason, still being mind raped by God, the Lord from the Bible, which, shame on you. Yeah, so back on, the descendants of wolves, the ancestors of wolves, dogs. If you flip it backwards, the word dog, it's God. So God, you'd imagine that he kind of likes dogs. Well, I think I saw an interview back when Michael Vick played for the Falcons. No, it was the Eagles. He liked dogs too. You know what I mean? He liked them a little bit too much sometimes. And I'm just going to delve a little bit deeper. I got to, there's places I can go with that one. Michael Vick, probably the best. He's not as good as a runner as Lamar Jackson in terms of a quarterback. Technically, Lamar Jackson is a running back, but Michael Vick could really sling the rock, dude. I think Lamar Jackson already has more rushing yards, which is insane. As a running back who plays in the quarterback position. And Michael Vick, dude, when he was on the Eagles, man, can you imagine a bald eagle like swooping down to the ground and like picking up a little dog? They do it. My grandpa, when he was in, well, when we drove to Alaska, he was telling me about this one fucking taxidermist dude. Can't remember where in Alaska, on the side of the road somewhere. It's a big state. Not a lot of roads, not a lot of people. It's where near do wells go to quote unquote get away from people and like try to rape a baby black bear or whatever the fuck they do. It's a pretty fun state. This taxidermist, you know, he was like one of the only taxidermists in the area, maybe the only. I'm sure Anchorage has one or two. It's not a very big state. I mean, it's not a very populous state. So there's not a lot of people to spend money there, but they do get a lot of tourism in the summer due to the salmon run. Salmon run, yeah, runs. There's 5 salmon breeds. There really is 6, but it's just like technically like an older, like a cousin, like a brother to the one of the other 5, like a bigger, yeah, whatever. This taxidermist dude, I think my grandpa told me he had 4 or 5 bald eagles taxidermied in his shop in the back. He killed the eagles and fucking had them taxidermied. I don't even think you can possess a bald eagle feather in this country. I believe it's illegal. This dude had 5 of them fucking up on his fucking by the ceilings. I wonder what bald eagle tastes like. Probably pretty gamey. But yeah, I was talking about fucked up shit. And inserting like I don't think this is right. I don't think this is true. So, I'm not even going to talk about it. Yeah, never mind. I just, I've been really thinking about beastiality porn lately. When I was in like 6th grade, I don't know what possessed one of my friends to like pull up a beastiality porn website. You know, for those of you who don't know, bestiality is it's when humans have sex with animals, whether that be a woman, a man. Hey, I guess it gets pretty boring having sex with human beings after a while. And how do you spell bestiality? Oh, it's legal in some states, baby. Let's go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 4 states. Whoop, whoop. Represent. Now, is that all animals? Wyoming, New Mexico, Hawaii, and West Virginia. Man, imagine like having to drive a boat out to Hawaii to have sex with like a fucking rabbit. Because you're just like, it's like an addiction, I'm sure. It's only a misdemeanor in some other states. A few of them have it as a felony, which, I mean, if the animal consents, like a parrot that can talk. Polly want a nut? Huh. Artificial insemination of animals. Insemination. Is that where they just stick a turkey baster up the vag? And I mean, isn't that technically rape? Oh my god. Hawaii and Wyoming are about to outlaw it. Where are all the people in the middle of the ocean gonna go to have a snake swim up their fucking asshole? This website. You wouldn't think that this website would have something like this on here. This is a website, the National Library of Medicine. I usually go here to look up like about coma dreams and diseases and tumors. I didn't know they specialized in beastiality law. Oh boy, this is a thick read. I'll leave an article for this one. Laws punishing individuals who have sex with non-human animals have existed since the earliest written legal codes. In the United States, bestiality has long been prohibited. Well, that's just fucking stupid, dude. What about back when there was like 10 people in the country? The rationale for criminalizing sex acts with animals has changed over time and has included moral condemnation, considerations of animal rights and animal welfare, and most recently a concern about the relationship between animal cruelty and impersonal violence. Colloquial. Whoa, that's a wild word. Colloquially. Blah, blah. This article reviews history and the current state of bestiality law in the United States. It notes important differences in language specificity and potential punishments for offenders depending on the jurisdiction. So the punishment would be what, like dog aids. I'm sure there's not really much. What, do you get a fucking slap on the wrist? They literally like have decriminalized hard drugs in this state. You know? Like people don't even, they like spend a fucking night in jail and then they give you your drugs back essentially. I've witnessed it. Well, apparently interpersonal violence is linked to bestiality. That's why you just got to give them a little bit of sedation. Ease into it a little bit. Yeah, boring. Zoophilia. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. The link. Dude, I don't know what the fuck. I keep seeing the word link everywhere. Not interested. I don't even know what the fuck, like. I think the internet and God and this universe seems to think that I'm like this fucking like telepathic wizard who has all these secrets hidden in like a vault in like Inception. Except when you get to the vault, there's just a bunch of cobwebs and a dude laying there like half on the ground trying to get high for the first time in months after ingesting drugs pretty much every day and just ripping cigarettes. That's about it. There's no. It's not like I'm a mastermind behind. It's not like I'm the wizard in the Wizard of Oz. Even though I do feel like a wizard sometimes, like Gandalf. Gandalf didn't really age much at all from the Hobbit movies to the Lord of the Rings, but it was like 60 years later, I think. That's something I need to know. Yeah, this article is so long, dude. Early societies' responses. Prior to 12,000 years ago, human beings relied on animals primarily as a source of food and raw materials in hunter-gatherer societies. It was not until the end of the last ice age, that humans began to domesticate animals. Archaeological evidence in the Near East suggests that wolves were the first animals to enter human societies. Cattle and pigs entered human societies around 9,000 years ago and were followed by horses, camels, donkeys, birds, and others around 3,000 years ago. Perhaps not surprisingly, animals first entered human societies were valued for the raw materials or agricultural benefits they provided. The earliest recorded legal codes demonstrate the economic value of animals in early human civilization. For example, the code of Hammurabi from the Mesopotamian civilization of Babylonia is one of the first known recorded legal codes. Huh. Its origin dates to around, code. They had laws back then. That's pretty impressive, actually. Like 2,000 years before Christ. Sorry, Lord. Please forgive me my sins. Amen. The code consists of 282 rules punishing various behaviors, a significant portion of which relate to the treatment of animals. Many rules specify the recompense owed to the owner of an animal that suffers harm from someone or someone's animals. Early societies responded to bestiality in various ways. In some, such as ancient Greece, sex between humans and non-human animals not only went unpunished, but it was possibly commonplace. Huh. Can you imagine, like, just everybody at, like, the bar, like, fucking animals? Because they just got so bored of fucking each other. Because what are you going to do in, like, 1500 BC? Stare at the fucking desert sand? I mean, Jesus. I'd probably want a horse to fuck me in the ass, too. Where'd my ashtray go? The hell? I broke one of them. So I just talked for like 45 minutes and nothing was recorded. So I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done. I don't care anymore. I really kind of wanted to finish this picture, but there's like 4 other pictures after it connected to it behind it. It's going to take like a month to do that. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm going to last today. I'm dunzo. You know what I mean? I'm over it. You know, it's, What can you even say? What can you say? What can you do? I wanna be eaten by you. No, I don't give a shit. Nobody fucking come to my... No, just beam me up. I don't give a shit about fucking... Don't give me money. Don't send me fucking lottery numbers. Don't send me drugs, etc. Nope. Pass. I'll see you on the other side. Unless there's something I'm missing, which I don't believe there is. No, I'm not playing along. I'm not doing anything. No. Nope. Haven't changed my mind. Lord and Savior from the Bible. I don't enjoy anything anymore. Anything. So what is the point of being here? You know? To finish a picture. It actually looks really fucking sweet. It's gonna be sad if I don't finish it, but whatever, dude. I don't care, man. Hmm. It's been a cool summer, weather-wise. I think now would probably be the good time to. It's gonna cool down here. Not tomorrow, Wednesday. After that, mid 70s for a while. In case anybody was wondering, I don't really need to know. Um. Yeah, I'm kaput. Can somebody do my dishes for me or something? I don't want to do them. Just not really feeling it. I mean, I will, but I don't want to. I don't know. I had some fucking joke about me and Michael Vick teaming up to start a beastialty porn star website, but it's not human porn stars. It's like dogs and cats that are the porn stars. You know, like Elisa Ann, but of dog porn. You might have some dog on dog, dog on cat. Might throw a medium-sized cat in there every once in a while, like a caracal or an ocelot, because they're about the same size as a French bulldog weight-wise. Caracal. It's a medium-sized cat, so not a house cat, not a lion, but right in the middle. Like 40 pounds, 45 maybe at the max. It's got pointy black ears. Really cool looking cat. It would probably fucking slit your throat in your sleep. Caracal. And an ocelot. Those two, I would love to have those two kinds of cats. Um, yeah, man. If anybody has any recommendations on um, meditating or astral projecting or hurry up. Also, yeah, whatever. Dude, I'm just tired of this plane of existence. But I'm not depressed. It's really weird. I'm just like empty. Empty, void. Um Pretty like vapid. And it's like when Matthew McConaughey, like, I can't remember, I don't remember Interstellar that well, but like right as he's like entering the black hole and it's just nothing, you know, he's in the middle of the fucking universe, but then right when he gets to the black hole, it's like the opposite of the wall. The light, the wall, the smoke, the glass, the warmth, the smell, the ass. And it's pretty much the opposite of that because it's black, it's nothing. You're just staring out into black space matter, which I believe is like, I think he's in like the seventh dimension when he starts, you know, falling through there. And then, yeah, whatever. Who gives a shit? I wonder if there's like music in heaven or, you know what I mean? Shit like that. Can you imagine like not ever listening to music again or talking to a human being and with like no weird things going on. Because I can't remember the last time I talked to somebody where there wasn't like just a weird vibe. It's been over 30 months. Which is about 30 times 30, about 900 days. 10% of my life. But it feels like it's been so long that I feel like my whole life has been like this. It's really weird. I remember the time before. It's God's one son of a bitch sometimes, dude. Fucking timed that shit perfectly with my car accident. I know it's not a coma dream. I know, I know it's not a coma dream because my entire life has been this, um, you know, I say it's not normal life, the normal world, but technically my entire life has been this. So technically, I mean, it is the normal world, real world. Just not what I used to think it was. Because after the first car accident, things shifted, things changed. But things were weird before that. I've realized that. Things have been, things that were weird 25 years before I was born. Fucking entertainment industry and all this kind of like bunch of shit, man. Like The Shining, 1980. You know, The Shining. Danny boy, come here, Danny boy. And yeah, whatever. Fuck. And not even like, I just wish, you know? So yeah, it's not a coma dream. Because there's no way for 25 and a half years that the entire universe could exist inside of a dream world. Just not possible. It's not. I mean, maybe for my brain, but no. That's just me talking myself up. And senses. I don't have access to really any of my senses from myself that is what I thought was a coma. I've never once heard a heart rate monitor, not one time. So, that's kind of a red flag. I've never heard anybody like in my life talking to me like they're from another world. The only time I have heard talking is, the devil, or it's coming from, it would be a lot more clear, all the senses, like a lot more not so distorted and warped. Feels like I'm trying to hear somebody talk at the bottom of the ocean and they're like 3 miles away. So that's, not really how comas work. And yeah, if I was in a coma, or my former self, blah blah blah. I'd be hearing that shit all the time. Especially if my former self was making my life so fucking unbearable and like psychologically shitty that he wanted me to kill myself to wake up, but not give me access to my senses. Doesn't make any sense at all. Not one bit. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Not even if I was 1 IQ, brain dead vegetable, I would be able to make sense of, what's going on. And yeah, so coma dreams out. Coma dream within a coma dream out. Simulation in a coma dream out. Because that vision, you can't simulate real, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot simulate something like that where you're ascending into what I know is now heaven and have all those senses. You can attempt to, which has happened many times. Attempted simulating what would be perceived as real, maybe to some people, but I know it's not, because I have experienced the real senses. Only from that vision. Never any other time. So, that just supports purgatory. Because when you see, when you're engulfed in bright white light, to the point where your entire vision is bright white light, from a little shitty fucking light on the ceiling of a jail cell, it was like a dead bulb almost. Everywhere in my peripheral, just white light. That's heaven. That's not, that's not my former self in a coma. I was in a hospital bed, though. I saw the hospital room. And I had, I think I had some IV drip going. But I imagine it's something like when I ran into a steel beam when I was in 5th grade and I didn't go to the hospital afterwards. But I was knocked unconscious for, 10 minutes, 15 maybe? Had like probably, not a tennis ball, but like probably a little bit bigger than a golf ball sized bump on my head. And I didn't go to the hospital then. That was probably my worst head injury. Or the time I was drunk and I took 3 Xanax bars and I face planted into the pavement and had a seizure or whatever. And then number 3 would be probably the carbon monoxide thing. Which, whatever. What can you do about that? If I wouldn't have fallen asleep, I would have went back inside. That's the thing. I fucked up. But I'm fine now. So those 3 were pretty major. And let me see. That's why my memory is so fucked. Not because God or the simulation, which I disproved, or my former self, which I disproved, is erasing my memory. It's because I have I've had about 8 concussions probably, and I've nuked my brain in a garage for a total of 7 hours. And I have a tumor growing in my eye socket. So, that probably is where the memory becomes questionable. I can't believe I thought something was erasing my memory, which probably made it true eventually, But clearly it's not. Clearly I just have brain damage. which, is a good reason to stop, doing drugs. What really gets me like fucking stupid, like in the like mentally, is weed. Because I don't smoke weed that much anymore. I used to smoke like 6, 7 times a day. I smoke like once maybe or twice at the most a day. Sometimes I don't even smoke. So when I smoke, I become like I feel like I'm like somebody just blew a bunch of carbon monoxide into my skull. So yeah, it's definitely just brain damage, which is kind of unfortunate, but the fact that I still have a pretty decent memory with all that brain damage is. I just can't believe I like for over a year I thought my memory was being erased. Where was I going with that story? Fuck. I which I think the tumor is kind of spreading to the eye stem or whatever. So if anybody knows about orbital tumors, uh, you know, don't say anything because I know none of you fucking people will do shit. There's like 3 of you that listen to this, and one of them's me. I re-listened to the episode because I'm fucking weird. Uh, God, I was going somewhere with that, man. Shit. I honestly just can't. I just honestly cannot imagine like dying and not being able to, like, not knowing for sure that, not for sure that there's a life afterwards. Because I don't want to die, man. So when God insinuates that that's what I should do, when I tried to get one thing to happen for months, and I said I would go do that, and it never happened. Nothing ever happened. So now it's like, all right, maybe I'm just the world clearly doesn't want this world ain't for me, man. Clearly, I don't belong here. You know, take a hint. That's about it. You know. I hope everybody has a good week. If you're wondering about yeah, who cares? I'm not even fucking like Jesus, man. It's really the most insane mental state to ever be in, I think. It's ugh. I know I'm not crazy. I know it's not. a simulation. I disprove that. That's what I was doing. Because you can't simulate real. And I would actually prefer it be a simulation versus a coma dream. Because, realizing that your whole life has been this fake life. Or not fake, you know what I mean? Like another life cycle. Second judgment. And you think that you might be in a coma dream. It's like, oh boy, we ain't gonna be looking too hot on the other side, huh? Which is why I don't have a problem with simulation theory, but I did disprove it. I really did. So this is actually like a fact. You can literally jot this down as like scripture of the truth. I'm not even joking. I'm not doing a fucking bit. Simulation theory is dead. I disproved it. I'm not kidding. Coma dream theory is dead as well. Doesn't exist. It's not real. Both of them. Simulation in purgatory. No. Simulation in a coma dream. Coma dream within a coma dream where you upload into the sim. No. Alien race abducts me and puts me in a weird sim. No. Yeah, I could be like 7 coma dreams deep, but I'm not. Which time dilation and dilution, I don't know which word it is, or manipulation, one of the three, would be so insanely distorted at that point. And if, the concept, I'm not gonna fucking know. Fucking somebody, well, yeah, whatever. I just, I just really wish that Michael Vick played a couple more seasons for the Philadelphia Eagles. He could really sling that rock, man. I thought they were gonna win the Super Bowl with him. And they didn't have a very good defense. That was the problem. I don't care. I don't care. I'm just so used to being fucked with and like, which at some point it's like just kill yourself then, Hayden. Like, why are you putting yourself through this? You know? It's a good point. If somebody said that to me, I'd be like, yeah, damn, you're right. No, for real, 'cause I don't enjoy anything. This world's fucked, everybody. Just go through all the episodes. I pretty much explained everything for the most part. I mean, I didn't, talk about some really fucked up shit. But that's not really something that most people should hear. If you want to know, give me a call or don't. Nobody will. Not, not with the time we're at. We're at 3:45 p.m. on a Monday. I just can't imagine ever like never seeing like Alaska again or something. Because I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Oh yeah, it's not the like normal real world with no sim, no because of what I've seen. The near-death experience. I went twice as long without water and didn't experience anything remotely close to that. 5 days. And with everything going on in the world, it's just not. It's not heaven and it's not hell, folks. So we're in purgatory, you know? Have fun with the next guy or girl. You know? Ease into him a little bit. No, it's not my thought. It's the first one that entered in a while. I think. This is another reason I need to get the hell out of here. But when you realize your entire life has been purgatory, round 2, or round 1 of, second life, and I realize, like, all my racing thoughts, even in, like, elementary and middle school, I could never fall asleep as a kid. I'd lay there for hours trying to fall asleep, and I just couldn't. Because I just have thoughts racing through my head. I thought I was just, like, anxious and not tired. No, that was God. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Satan. Because I have a lot more to think about, more fucked up shit, and it doesn't happen now. It did for 2.5 years almost. After the accident. So, clearly it's not my head, you know? But then I think, what is thinking? What is thinking? Like original thought. Thinking. Has anybody had an original thought ever? I mean, I want to say that I have, but then I'm like, where do those thoughts come from? It's like, I'll probably seem like I know I seem crazy to me, but it's true. It's real. It's I'm not lying. I'm not joking. So that's really all you need to know. I mean, yeah. God damn it. Jesus.